Welcome to the reality, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. You'll do as you're told.
Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brett.
What's up?
And Kevin.
Hello.
As you can see in Brett's background, we are all medically cleared to do this review of The Ultimate Fighter. This is week 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. A really interesting one, Team McGregor versus Team Chandler. Thank you, everyone who watched week 1. Awesome engagement from the community on Instagram, on the YouTube video. Make sure that you do the same here. We're going to start, though, where the episode ended with the actual fight that did actually take place. We had Mando Gutierrez. He was the #1 bantamweight on Conor McGregor's prospect team, taking on UFC vet Cody Gibson. Again, guys, a first round ending of a match, a knockout. We have Cody getting Mando up against the cage pretty early. Mando does get bloodied up while he's against the cage. They do open up and box a few times. There was a lot of good coaching going on for someone who's not a big technical UFC fan. I felt like I was following along pretty well, actually, with like the feedback that Conor and them were giving. It kind of made sense, right? It didn't seem like it was too inside baseball or anything like that. So like, I really appreciated that. I thought the fight was actually pretty followable. But after Mando throws a left-right combo, Cody just runs in with a flying right knee right under the jaw, drops
Dude, that was
him.
Awesome.
Right, I would right here.
Yeah, it was like, perfect.
I've cringed.
Yeah. So, dude, those are like the moments where I'm like, why would anybody sign up for this? Like, why would you put yourself into that situation?
He gets to the ground, strikes to the back of the head. It is called at 136 of round 1. So Brett, I want to kick it to you, obviously the fight expert. How did you think about how the fight played out? Did it play out how you thought it would play out?
Well, I knew once again there was probably going to be a finish because as we're getting into the fight, there's probably like 7 minutes left in the episode. So I was like, all right, well, we have a wrestler versus, a striker and a wrestler. So I had a feeling that Cody was going to pull this one out in some way, probably a knockout. But yeah, that knee was nasty. And then they showed us he had a nice little gash on his face afterwards. So
I'll be back. It is what it is.
So that was clean. Is the moment that knee landed, that was flashbacks to Masvidal Askren, and he threw a couple love taps in there afterwards to finish the job. But I knew it was going to be over.
Yeah, dude, that was nuts. I mean, it was cool. That was awesome. And like, I kind of want to go back to what you said when it comes to like, me and you were probably on the same level when it comes to like, we watch UFC, but we're not like fans. Like, we don't follow it like Brett does.
Couldn't tell you what the stances were, right? Like,
right, yeah, like stuff like that. I don't get. But they do
play by play. Actual fight to me, I kind of just zoned out. Cause I watch these all the time. It's a fight, nothing too crazy, and then the knockout, boom,
bang.
That's what.
But they do a good job of letting you know what's going on. You know what I mean? And I think it's gonna in the future, just like, when I do watch UFC, I'm going to have a better understanding as to
I think so for sure.
What's happening,
No, I think so for sure. And it was interesting too. I thought this was a good episode to see Conor's, personality. I really loved, this is what I've loved honestly so far too, is like, I only know Conor from obviously being a good fighter, but like the persona more, right? The press conferences, the walk and the the proper 12 and all like that. But I think people do forget, and people like myself, it's like, this guy is a really world-class fighter. Like, he does know his stuff, right? Like, he got there for a reason. And I think sometimes I take too much of almost like a wrestling mindset where like,
you forget
be there.
That it's not a persona. That's literally who he is. His confidence and swagger. Even before he was famous, he oozed it. And now that he's like the richest man in the UFC, he's confidence out the wazoo. Even the other team loved him in this episode. You had the red guys like drooling over him as well when he was getting his haircut.
I want to ask you this, Brett, and I want to also kind of pose it to the community, like for the comments. Now 2 episodes in, and Conor's team 0-2. Is he set up to lose this? Like, is their team like? Is it really? I feel like so far,
I was wondering the same thing.
2 really like seasoned fighters who like knew and picked their spot, and boom. Now, obviously, this one was a lot further into the first round than last week's quick KO, but like, do you think these prospects, like any of them, really have a shot to fully advance, Brett? Like, are these prospects really super green, or are they kind of like playing that up a little bit? And some of these guys are like stone killers that we're going to see later in the season.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't. As far as the one next week with Austin Hubbard, he's pretty good. So I see them going 3-0 against McGregor's team next week, unless they show us the one that we were supposed to see at the beginning of this episode. I don't know how they're going to play that one.
I think they showed Hubbard. I think you're right. I think it's the scheduled fight.
I said this. Well, I guess we just saw. Yeah, I didn't even know it was the number 4 bantamweight from Chandler's team just took out Connor's number 1 guy.
Yeah, Mando was number 1. Yeah, Cody Gibson.
I don't know why he was the number 1 guy. I mean, he's just like he was a wrestler, and that was it. He wasn't even a collegiate wrestler. So maybe these guys aren't even like, they have good MMA records, but they just aren't, maybe their skill level overall isn't as great as some of these more seasoned guys. And I think all Chandler's lightweight guys are going to win. So
a little background on Cody Gibson, 19-8 professional record. His first fight in UFC 2014 on 10-day notice. A decision loss to Sterling. Second fight was a KO versus Bedford. And then he did make an appearance at UFC 178. He tapped out to Gambieri with 2 seconds left in the fight. Apparently was cut subsequently from there. So, I mean, this guy, making a numbered appearance, I feel like that's pretty big time.
The first guy you said, he's also the current champion. So even though this was a long time ago, one of those losses was to the champion.
Oh, Sterling is the current champion.
Before he's the champion.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. So that makes sense. We don't want to forget about what we've been talking about, what was supposed to happen this week. We were supposed to see Trevor Wells taking on Timur Valiev, the Dagestani fighter. I was honestly really psyched to see him fight. Like, I just wanted to see if, like, how much of a stone cold killer he was, or if he is. However, they walked in, they went up to Chandler, the doctors and all gave him the report. He has a cold sore, Trevor Wells. Big old sore on his face. You got the herp. And I guess he got it from, like they said, rubbing up on the mats and stuff like that. I could see that happening. But since it is an active contagious disease, technically not allowed to fight. What it did come down to is it looks like they aren't. And obviously from the preview next week, they're not going to make Timur fight next week or Trevor fight next week and have them cut weight 2 weeks in a row. But it does interestingly put up, like, how are they going to fit it into the schedule? Is everything literally just moved up 1 week and they're going to be the final fight of the quarterfinals? Or what do you guys kind of think would make the most sense?
It sounded like they wanted to do it next week. And then I think as far as just their real time, they should just make that the last fight now so that they can cut weight again.
Well, what I was going to ask, Brett, do they make these matchups based on like should it get better each week type of thing? Like, would it be, I guess, more right for them to just get them back in it right away?
So I think the way it worked is they basically were picking who they want, like they alternated picking the guy they want to fight that week, and then the guy on the opposing team who is seeded accordingly now has to fight that week also.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're not trying to set it up, Kev, like, and at the end of the day, too, right? You can't know if any fight's going to be a clunker.
Right. That's what I was wondering.
And be the worst fight. So
McGregor just lost his number 1 guy and his number 2 guy. So
that's tough, man. I mean,
they got a nice haircut.
I want to see if Chandler starts talking crap next week.
Yeah. When does it hit that point where now they're going to start chirping? Like, that'd be cool.
After next week when he goes 3-0.
Yeah.
When you're saying that fight should be like December-ish, they're aiming for that, you think, Brett?
Something like that, November, December.
Okay, cool. So we still got about another 4 or 5
Now, is the Ultimate Fighter still come down to, like, at the end, who wins between McGregor and Chandler?
No.
Like, all of this doesn't matter until it gets to that. And
you're
it's
like,
all right,
describing, Kevin, the last 2 questions you've had have been basically like setting up the Ultimate Fighter to be like a ninja or like a Ninja Turtles movie where like they're working up to
Mortal
the final
Kombat.
boss.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're like, actually, no, it's Splinter versus Shredder.
Yeah, dude, it'd be awesome.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing.
By the time the coaches fight, they're going to be on just a normal UFC card headlining. Whereas the Ultimate Fighter, like the finalists, are going to fight on their own card, which will be at the end of the show.
What number are we on right now?
2.
No, as far as pay-per-views.
290, I think, is this weekend.
290. So probably something like 295, 296, something like that. Probably get him. So that's not too bad. Look, I think overall, again, Brett, like I have to give you credit 100%. Like I really am enjoying the show as far as like the dynamic, and you get the background on the fighters. I think that's cool. I do like, though, I don't want to forget that Landon and Chandler did get into it. Landon was just staring at Chandler too much, and he finally was like, I just don't like the way you talk. I don't like the way you sound. I like your stupid face, basically. And he challenged him to a fight in the house.
I don't know if those are the right names, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was Roosevelt versus
I've said
whoever.
His team.
It was Roosevelt. He fought last week, and he basically took over half this episode again, where he was getting into an argument with that dude. And nowadays you don't see that too much, where guys just straight up say like, "I don't like you" to their face, and that was interesting.
Appreciate it.
That was
I love that.
Let people know where they stand, right? They're not even on the same team. So it's like, especially like, who the hell cares? Like, we're not going to like each other. Like, maybe we'll fight. But especially like you said, if you're him, you're like, dude, I've already won. Like Roosevelt's like, I already want to fight, dude. Like, talk to me in like 6 weeks. Like,
just win your fight, buddy. And then you can ask for my number, and then I'll let you know.
If literally wouldn't even let anyone talk to me unless they'd want to fight yet.
He's like, I just the sound of your voice. So just quit talking. And he's like, well, you're talking to me. Get out of my face.
Do you guys have anything else of note you want to bring up before we kind of wrap up?
No, I did like the product placement of McGregor's beer when he was getting his haircut, and they had their own bartenders for that. That was kind of cool.
I did like that.
Was it that old guy?
I don't know.
That makes sense.
He's just like one of the coaches.
One of the coaches. I don't know.
That makes sense.
No, he's actually the level 2 boss. Actually, he hops out from behind the bar, and you had to take him down.
Connor's dad.
I have a McGregor proper 12 autograph. I should bring that
that's
on.
sick, dude.
Yeah,
you should have that on the video next week.
He came to Harrisburg because like that's where the PLCB is.
We should get Connor.
So he was like trying to introduce it to get it like.
Yeah, we should call him. I'll send him a DM on Instagram. I'm sure he's gonna read it. So,
bro, that would be so funny if he came on.
Boys,
oh my God.
No, you gotta like find him somewhere alive and like throw him a T-shirt.
Yeah, force him on. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, you gotta.
Chandler might do it. He has his own YouTube channel.
All right, there we go. We'll start with that. Listen, I'll start with the guy who just got his face kicked in. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Like we'll go from there. You know what I mean? We'll work.
The other thing was that guy has like such a good fighter name, Mando
Gutierrez. Yeah, it sounds like a fake name. Sounds like
right.
Ready to
it's
Rumble
like
boxing name.
Yeah, it's like perfect.
Make sure you're checking out everything else we're doing on the channel this week. A bunch of awesome content. Love Island is back. Brian and I are doing a review of the first 2 episodes. Brian does a review of every episode on our TikTok 60-second review, so make sure you're subscribed there. The Vanderpump Rules reunion will get to its final part tomorrow night, the 3rd and final part of the reunion everyone's been talking about, so make sure you're tuned in for that. Stars on Mars, we just had the series premiere on Monday night, have the reviews already on the channel. Look out in the summer for things like Big Brother, The Challenge. In the fall, we have things like Survivor. What else do we have? The Amazing Race. And what else are we going to have going? Oh, The Bachelorette starts in 2 weeks along with Claim to Fame. So a crap ton of stuff on the reality, guys. Thank you for helping us grow the channel, and we hope to keep growing throughout the summer. But until next week's fight, for Brett, Kevin, and myself, thank you. Peace.
See ya.